So between protesters attacking Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders and DHS Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen, also First Lady Melania Trump getting slammed over her clothing choices, are women on the right who work for the president treated more unfairly than those on the left? Here to debate is Fox News contributor Jessica Tarlov, who is the senior director of research for Bustle.com, and the communications director for Turning Point USA, Candice Owens. Good morning, ladies. Good to have you with us.
Good morning, Abby.
I think we can all agree that things have gotten ugly. It has become so hateful. It's become so divisive. Candice, is there a double standard with women on the right, you think?
Of course, there's a double standard. I mean, it's incomprehensible and indefensible, and anybody with a modicum of decency will admit that what's going on here is wrong. I can't even fathom a world where Obama's daughters are threatened with pedophilia by somebody in Hollywood in the same week that someone in his administration is kicked out of a restaurant with 7 members of their family just for wanting to eat. We would never hear the end of the claims of racism. This would not be allowed whatsoever, and it should not be allowed just because this is Donald Trump's administration.
Jessica, your response?
My response is that there are 2 issues at play here. There's the civility issue, which is what happened here with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and I personally don't think that she should have been thrown out of the restaurant. I think you can have a conversation with someone about the beliefs and what this administration is doing without denying them service. We don't deny service to people for immutable characteristics. We can legally on the basis of political affiliation, but I don't think it was constructive and it hurts the debate. The other side to the issue is the fact that Republican women want to be deemed feminists, and they want to have the same kind of clout as women on the left who are actually advocating for policies that help women, whereas the policies out of this administration actually hurt them, like refusing to raise.
Women that work for the president, they wouldn't say that. They would say actually the opposite. They would say that we believe in these issues and we feel like they help women.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, but the statistics don't lie. We know that if you raise the minimum wage, 2/3 of people in this country on the minimum wage are women. They need that help. We know that there is assault on women's health care rights from this administration, things like that.
Jess, please, I hate this selective feminism that we hear on the left all the time, okay? Well, don't make this a feminism issue because it's not a feminism issue.
But it is,
when you're going out and attacking women, you're not, I'm not done, okay? When you're going out and attacking women, you are not a feminist. This is not defensible whatsoever. And you sit here and you say this because you care about mothers. The basis of this is that people are upset that illegal immigrants are being separated from their mothers. Why don't you refocus some of that energy to the Black community? They've been having their families separated. In fact, it's subsidized in the Black community. You appreciate single motherhood. You are giving more money to families for fatherless absence. So all of this selective fake outrage when you guys do not have the same defenses for the Black community is really lost on me. And it's time's up on this altogether. I think the Black community has had enough of you guys being selectively outraged for parents of illegal immigrants, but not for the parents of the Black community who have been separated from their family for about 6 decades.
All right, and ladies, I just want to point out, I just want to point out, let's keep this civil. As I opened up this segment, there is already so much hate. Indecency in this country. So let's just keep this debate a debate and keep it civil. Jessica, your response.
I believe I was keeping it civil, and then Candice told me that I wasn't a feminist. I also believe that Candice doesn't speak for the entire.
You weren't. I said the left.
Ladies,
I said the left. I didn't say you, Jessica. So don't make it personal. I said the left. It's selective feminism on the left that we're seeing.
I disagree with you, and I'm going to do that politely. I'm going to return to my original argument, which is that we have heard this for years, that Kellyanne Conway, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and all the women who work for this president and support his agenda aren't getting their due. They're not getting their due from the feminist community because they are advocating for policies that hurt women, that keep them in a bad economic position, that don't allow them to live equally in this society.
They deny the wage. Jessica?
Yes.
Same for the Black women.
Same for Black women in this society. Do you think that Kirstjen Nielsen should be harassed because of her position and because of what is going on with immigration? Do you think because of that she deserves to be treated the way that she does? She was essentially forced out of a Mexican restaurant, protesters in there. You may disagree with her, but do you think the way she's been treated is fair?
I think that what Kirstjen Nielsen did in initially coming out and lying about what this president's policy did, then having to backtrack on it, puts her in a very tenuous position.
That wasn't my question, though.
I think that people should have civil conversations about it and certainly have every right as a public official to come up to her table and to call her out on her lies and this administration's lies. If she wants to leave because of it, that's on her. But she should be open to that dialogue with the American public who is dissatisfied.
Candice, very quickly, last word here.
This is a very very slippery slope. The left should stop this, because then you're basically saying that in the future this is going to be allowed in administrations that you do support. And as I said, the selective outrage for illegal families, when this has been going on in the black community, no one talks about the fathers that are separated, the fathers that are behind bars, the fathers that are buried on the south side of Chicago and in Baltimore. So again, this is completely, to me, seems like fake outrage, and I don't support it whatsoever.
Candice, that's why President Obama
We're gonna have to leave
had his father's program.
Yes, it was Obama's administration
Candice,
that sanctioned those programs.
Candice and Jessica, we will leave the debate right there.
Thanks, Abby.
Have a good Sunday, both of you. Thank you so much. All right. Oof.
Cynthia Nixon adding her 2 cents this week, tweeting that Immigration and Customs Enforcement is a terrorist organization, and that's not all. She joined The View as well. Take a look.
I think we need to abolish ICE. That seems really clear. They have strayed so far from the interests of the American people and the interests of humanity. We need to abolish it.
So, here with reaction to more and some of the more outrageous news of the week, Turning Point USA Communications Director Candice Owens. Candice, what do you think of Cynthia Nixon, who's running for governor, saying that we have strayed so far from what the American people want? What do you think of that?
Look, I think, quite frankly, Cynthia Nixon needs to consider running for governor in Mexico. I genuinely no longer understand if the Democrats are aware that they are seeking to serve the American people. It's like they have no idea that the constituents are American. They are outwardly just opposed to everything that is Americanism at this point. I don't get it whatsoever. It's embarrassing that she would insult the border agents. They have one of the toughest jobs in this country. It's a dangerous job. And by the way, a lot of them are Mexican.
Yeah, that's true. But what about, I mean, the whole concept of a law enforcement organization, federal, being a terrorist organization? You know, I didn't hear these people yelling and screaming when the ISIS was out there. I mean, it was like, oh, no, we've got to go against law and order. There's this whole new concept that anything having to do with the laws is a problem.
That's exactly right. They're against law enforcement altogether. They've been against police officers on their platform. They've been against our veterans and our troops. Anything that serves the American people and protects us, the Democrats are adamantly opposed to. And quite frankly, these ideas are dangerous. I can't believe that she had the gall to say this whatsoever.
All right, let me ask you this. Peter Fonda this week tweeted, we should rip Barron Trump from his mother's arms and put him in a cage with pedophiles and see if mother will stand up against the giant a-hole she's married to. Since when have we been able to refer to the president as that and put a child in a cage with a pedophile?
This is absolutely disgusting. There are really no other words for this, but absolutely sickening what he tweeted here. And more sickening is the fact that there was absolutely no consequence for what he tweeted. His movie is being released this weekend, I believe. They have no consequence whatsoever, and there's a double standard here. Why was Roseanne Barr immediately canceled, but he still gets to have his movie put out? It's a major problem. There was more outrage over Melania Trump's jacket than there was over Barron Trump being threatened with pedophiles.
Yeah, well, it's interesting the way they treat a conservative or a liberal or leftist and the consequences. There are none. And finally, Sarah Sanders' tweet today, what happened to her, and I talked about this in my open. She says, last night I was told by the owner of Red Hen, that's the name of the restaurant, in Lexington, Virginia, to leave because I work for the President of the United States. I politely left, but her actions say far more about her than about me. I will always do my best to treat people, including those I disagree with, respectfully, and will continue to do so. Now, what do you think is happening in this country right now, Candice, where the left has absolutely no compunction to heckling people like the Cabinet Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen, to throwing people out of restaurants, to getting bullhorns and outside their homes, calling them racist, fascists, and whatever? Did Republicans ever do this, or is this just something that they're entitled to do because they hate Donald Trump?
No, the Republicans actually never did this. But I'll tell you what, I'm comfortable with this story because what this tells me is that the left has absolutely lost control. They know that they are losing. They are scared. They are desperate. And this is like flailing arms of a temper tantrum at this point. So I'm not too worried about it. I think this shows us that we are winning, that Donald Trump is winning, that he's making tremendous strides.
I think, Candice, you're right. I think that America is going to react to this. I think that all this ultimately benefits the president. But this is very painful. I mean, people people who are going to work, and these people who work in the White House, they work 18 hours a day. They're on call 24/7, and yet they're being trashed like this. If we did this to someone in the Obama administration, we'd be in jail. Or if we said, hey, your daughter should be in a cage with a pedophile, we would be in jail. Yes?
Absolutely. We'd be in jail, and they would say that we were racist and that we were sexist and a bunch of other names. But Sarah Sanders is built for this. She's extremely tough.
She is. Candice Owens, thanks so much for being with us.